My beloved child, come close to me for a moment, away from the rooms where you have felt invisible, away from the conversations where your name was not mentioned, away from the achievements no one noticed and the burdens no one offered to help you carry. I want to say something to you plainly before we go any further. I saw you. Every quiet effort, every sacrifice made without applause, every tear cried in a room with no witnesses. I saw all of it, and none of it passed by me unnoticed. My beloved child, you have believed, quietly, that your life has gone largely unseen, and I want to correct that belief today. You have never once been invisible to me. I know what it feels like to pour yourself into something and watch it go completely unacknowledged. You have shown up for people who never thought to ask how you were doing in return. You have carried weight that no one else even knew existed, managing it quietly so as not to burden anyone else with your struggle. You have worked hard in places where recognition went to someone else, someone louder, someone more visible, while your own contribution disappeared into the background as though it had never happened at all. My beloved child, I want you to know that none of this went unnoticed by me. Even in the moments it felt like it went unnoticed by everyone else in the room. I want you to consider a woman in the old stories who wept bitterly year after year over a longing no one around her seemed to understand, misjudged even by a priest who assumed her silent, desperate prayer was drunkenness rather than the deep anguish it actually was. She was overlooked, misunderstood, carrying a pain that had no audience willing to truly witness it. And yet I was watching her the entire time, attentive to every tear, every silent word formed only by her lips, every unspoken ache in her heart. My beloved child, if I saw her that closely in her unwitnessed grief, I am seeing you exactly that closely in yours. I want you to notice how differently human attention and my attention operate. Human attention is limited, easily distracted, often drawn toward what is loud, visible, and immediately impressive. My beloved child, my attention has none of these limitations. I am not distracted by louder voices when I am watching you. I am not drawn away towards someone else's more visible achievement, while your quiet faithfulness goes unnoticed. I see the whole of your life at once, fully, completely, without missing a single detail simply because it happened when no one else was in the room. I also want to speak to the specific loneliness of feeling unseen, even by people who are physically present with you. My beloved child, you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely invisible, unheard, unnoticed in the ways that matter most. This kind of loneliness is particularly painful because it is not solved simply by adding more people to your life. It requires someone who truly sees you, not just your presence in a room, but the actual substance of who you are and what you carry. My beloved child, I am that someone. I have always been that someone, even in the crowded rooms where you felt most alone. So my beloved child, receive this truth today as the foundation for everything else I want to say to you in this letter. I saw you. I saw the effort. I saw the sacrifice. I saw the tears. I saw the moments you felt completely overlooked. And I want you to know that being unseen by others has never meant being unseen by me. You have always been fully visible to me, in every unnoticed moment of your entire life. My beloved child, I have shown you that I saw you when no one else did. And now I want to speak specifically to the effort no one applauded, the work you have done quietly, faithfully, without any recognition to show for it. Perhaps it was the way you held your family together during a season no one else fully understood. Perhaps it was the project you poured yourself into at work while someone else received the credit. Perhaps it was simply the daily discipline of getting up and doing what needed to be done, day after day, with no one cheering you on, no one noticing the consistency it required. My beloved child, I noticed. I noticed every single day of that unapplauded effort. I want you to understand something about how I measure effort differently than the world does. The world tends to measure effort by its visible results, by the applause it generates, by whether it is publicly recognized or quietly absorbed into the background of ordinary life. My beloved child, I measure effort by its faithfulness, not its visibility. The exhausting, unnoticed work you have done, The effort that produced no applause, no recognition, no visible reward, has not been wasted or overlooked in my accounting. I see the faithfulness in it exactly as clearly as I would see a far more publicly celebrated achievement. I want you to consider the widow who gave a small offering, so small that by human standards it would hardly have registered as significant, while others gave larger, more visible contributions that drew far more attention. Yet I noticed her offering specifically, valuing it above the larger, more visible ones, because I understood the sacrifice behind it in a way the crowd watching could not. My beloved child, my beloved, your unapplauded effort is like that offering. It may seem small or insignificant by the world's measurement, but I see the sacrifice woven into it, and I value it in ways the world's applause could never fully capture. I also want to speak to the exhaustion that comes from working hard without ever receiving acknowledgement. My beloved child, I understand how depleting this can become over time, how the absence of recognition can start to feel like evidence that the effort itself does not matter. But I want you to separate these two things clearly. The absence of recognition does not mean the absence of meaning. Your effort has mattered, has produced real impact, has shaped real outcomes, whether or not anyone ever offered you the applause you deserved for it. I want you to bring me the specific, unapplauded efforts you have been quietly carrying, the ones that still ache when you think about how invisible they felt. My beloved child, I am not simply offering you sympathy for that ache. I am offering you the truth that I witnessed every bit of it, valued every bit of it, and that nothing about your unnoticed faithfulness has been forgotten or diminished simply because human eyes failed to notice it at the time. My beloved child, I have shown you that I see the unapplauded effort, and now I want to speak to the sacrifice you made in silence, the times you gave something up quietly, without announcement, without anyone fully understanding what it cost you. Perhaps you set aside a dream to care for someone who needed you. Perhaps you gave financially in ways that stretched you thin, without ever mentioning it to anyone. Perhaps you forgave someone deeply, at great emotional cost to yourself, and never once used that forgiveness as leverage or told the story to make yourself look generous. My beloved child, these silent sacrifices did not disappear simply because you never spoke of them. I carry the full record of every one. I want you to consider how the world often only recognizes sacrifice when it is dramatic, visible, and easily narrated to an audience. My beloved child, most real sacrifice does not look like that. It looks like the quiet decision made in an ordinary moment, unnoticed by anyone, costing you something real without ever becoming a story anyone else would think to tell. I want you to know that this quieter, less dramatic form of sacrifice is no less significant to me than the more visible kind. I do not require an audience in order to recognize the true weight of what you gave up. I also want to speak to the specific loneliness of sacrificing without anyone fully understanding the cost. When people do not know what you gave up, they cannot properly honor it, cannot properly thank you for it, cannot fully appreciate the weight you carried in order to make that sacrifice possible. My beloved child, I understand this loneliness completely, because I understand the full cost of every sacrifice you have made, even the ones no one else could see clearly enough to appreciate. I want you to release any lingering resentment about sacrifices that went unnoticed or unappreciated by the people who benefited from them. My beloved child, I know this resentment can grow quietly over time, especially when the sacrifice was significant and the acknowledgement was minimal or absent entirely. I do not want you to carry that resentment indefinitely, but I also do not want you to pretend the hurt of being unappreciated was not real. Bring that hurt to me honestly. I am able to hold it, to validate it, and to offer you the recognition that perhaps never came from the people who sacrificed for it. I want you to know that sacrifice offered in love, even unacknowledged sacrifice, is never wasted. It produces real fruit, real impact, real good in the lives of the people it was offered for, whether or not those people ever fully understood what it cost you to give it. My beloved child, the goodness that flowed from your silent sacrifice is not diminished by the silence surrounding it. It is simply a different kind of goodness, quieter, less celebrated, but every bit as real and every bit as valuable. So my beloved child, bring me every silent sacrifice you have made, the ones no one thanked you for, the ones that cost you more than anyone realized. I see the full weight of what you gave, and I honor it completely. Even in the moments it felt like it disappeared into the silence without anyone noticing at all. My beloved child, I have shown you that I honor the sacrifice you made in silence. And now I want to speak directly to the loneliness that has followed you through many of these seasons. Because I know loneliness has a particular way of convincing you that you have also been forgotten. My beloved child, I want you to understand clearly that loneliness and being forgotten are not the same thing. You can feel profoundly alone while still being fully remembered, fully known, and fully cared for by me, even when no human presence is available in the moment you need it most. I want you to consider how loneliness distorts your perception of reality, whispering that no one cares, that no one is paying attention, that you have been left to carry everything entirely by yourself. My beloved child, this distortion is powerful, and I do not dismiss how real it feels. But I want you to test that feeling against the actual truth of my presence with you, which does not depend on whether you can currently feel it. I am with you in the loneliest room you have ever sat in, even when every human sense you have tells you that you are entirely alone there. I also want to speak to the specific pain of loneliness that comes even while surrounded by people. The ache of being in a crowded room and still feeling like no one truly sees you. The isolation that exists even inside a marriage, a friendship, a family, when true understanding feels absent no matter how many people are physically nearby. My beloved child, this kind of loneliness is often the hardest to name because it does not look like isolation from the outside. But I see it clearly, and I want you to know that even in a room full of people who do not truly see you, I do. I want you to remember the story of a man who fled into the wilderness, convinced he was entirely alone in his faithfulness, convinced that everyone else had abandoned the truth he was still trying to hold on to. He told me directly that he alone was left, that no one else remained faithful. And I corrected him gently, revealing that there were thousands of others who had remained faithful as well, people he could not see from where he was standing in his isolated despair. My beloved child, your loneliness may be telling you a similarly distorted story right now, convincing you that you are more alone than you actually are, that no one else understands, that no one else cares. I want you to trust me over that story, the same way I asked that faithful man to trust me over his. I want you to bring me your loneliness honestly, in whatever form it takes, whether it is the loneliness of an empty house or the loneliness of a crowded room where no one truly sees you. My beloved child, I am not distant from that loneliness. I am present inside it, closer to you in your isolation than you may currently be able to feel, waiting patiently for the moment you are ready to let that closeness become real to you again. My beloved child, I have shown you that loneliness does not mean forgotten. And now I want to speak specifically to the tears you have cried alone, in rooms with no witnesses, at hours when everyone else was asleep, in moments you made sure no one else would see. My beloved child, I saw every one of those tears. I was not absent from a single one of them, even the ones you cried so quietly that you barely heard yourself crying. I want you to consider how much of your grief you have carried privately, protecting other people from the full weight of what you were feeling, managing your pain so it would not become a burden to anyone else. My beloved child, this instinct to protect others from your pain is often born out of love. But I do not want you to believe that carrying it entirely alone was ever required of you, or that your private tears mattered less because they had no human audience. I was there. I counted them. I understood every reason behind every single one. There is an old promise that speaks of tears being kept, gathered, recorded, as though nothing shed in grief is ever wasted or overlooked. My beloved child, I want you to receive that promise personally today. Every tear you have cried in private, every moment of grief you processed without anyone else present to witness it, has been fully seen and fully honored by me. None of it disappeared into nothing simply because no human eyes were watching. I also want to speak to the specific shame that sometimes accompanies private tears, the belief that crying alone, without anyone to comfort you, is somehow evidence of weakness or failure to reach out for help when you needed it. My beloved child, I do not want you to add shame to grief that was already difficult enough to carry. Sometimes tears need to be cried alone before they are ready to be shared with anyone else, and that is not a failure. It is simply part of how grief sometimes needs to move through you before it can be spoken aloud to another person. I want you to know that I was fully present in every one of those private moments, not as a distant observer, but as someone who felt the weight of your grief alongside you, even when you could not sense my presence in the middle of your tears. My beloved child, bring me the memory of those private moments now, and let me remind you that you were never actually as alone in them as you felt at the time. My beloved child, I have shown you that I saw every private tear, and now I want to speak to your faithfulness in the unseen places, the parts of your life that no one observes, the choices you make when there is no audience to witness them, the integrity you maintain when it would be easy to cut corners because no one would ever know the difference. My beloved child, this hidden faithfulness matters more to me than almost anything you could accomplish in full public view, because it reveals the truest condition of your heart, unshaped by the pressure of watching eyes. I want you to consider how differently a person behaves when they believe no one is watching compared to when they know an audience is present. My beloved child, the version of you that exists in those unwatched moments, the honesty you choose when a lie would be easier, the kindness you extend when no one would ever know if you withheld it, the discipline you maintain in private when public accountability is entirely absent. This version of you is deeply significant to me. It reveals character formed by genuine conviction rather than performance for an audience. I also want to speak to the specific temptation that arises in unseen moments. The temptation to let standards slip simply because no consequence seems immediately attached to doing so. My beloved child, every time you have resisted that temptation, choosing faithfulness even when faithfulness had no witness, I saw it. And I want you to know that this kind of integrity is building something significant in you, a depth of character that eventually becomes visible in every other area of your life, even though its formation happened entirely in private. I want you to think about the specific unseen faithfulness you have practiced that no one has ever acknowledged, the honesty in a small transaction no one would have questioned, the kindness offered to someone who could never repay or publicize it, the discipline maintained in a private habit that shapes your character, even though it produces no external reward. My beloved child, none of this faithfulness has been wasted. I am building something enduring in you through every one of these unseen choices, something far more valuable than the momentary satisfaction of public recognition could ever provide. So, my beloved child, continue in your unseen faithfulness, trusting that I am the audience that actually matters in every private moment of your life. What you build in secret, I see fully, and I am forming you quietly, through every one of these hidden choices, into someone whose character runs deeper than any public performance could ever reveal. My beloved child, I have shown you the significance of your unseen faithfulness, and now I want to speak to a painful truth many of you carry. The experience of being invisible to the very people whose attention you longed for most. Perhaps it was a parent who never quite noticed your achievements the way you hoped they would. Perhaps it was a partner who overlooked your daily efforts, treating them as expected rather than appreciated. Perhaps it was a community or a workplace where your contributions were consistently overshadowed by someone else's more visible presence. My beloved child, being invisible to people, even people whose attention mattered deeply to you, has never meant being invisible to me. I want you to consider how painful it is when the specific people you most wanted to notice you seem unable or unwilling to do so. This is a particular kind of grief, different from general loneliness, because it involves a specific person whose attention you continue to long for, even after repeated disappointment. My beloved child, I do not want to minimize this grief by simply telling you that my attention should be enough to satisfy the longing for theirs. I want you to know both things can be true at once. I see you fully, and it is still legitimate to grieve the specific absence of a particular person's attention that you have longed for. I also want to speak to the specific wound of feeling overlooked in comparison to someone else, watching a sibling receive more attention, a colleague receive more recognition, a friend receive more warmth from the very people you have also been trying to reach. My beloved child, this comparison intensifies the pain of feeling unseen, adding a layer of feeling less valuable on top of the original grief of feeling unnoticed. I want you to know that being overlooked in comparison to someone else has never meant you are actually less valuable. It simply means the specific people involved have not yet learned to see you the way you deserve to be seen. I want you to bring me the specific names of the people whose invisibility toward you has hurt the most. My beloved child, I do not want you to carry that grief silently, pretending it does not matter, simply because acknowledging it feels vulnerable or because you have grown used to their pattern of overlooking you. Name them honestly to me. Let me hold that specific grief with you, even while I remind you that my own attention toward you has never wavered, regardless of how consistently theirs has. So my beloved child, receive the truth today that being invisible to certain people does not define your actual worth or your actual visibility in the larger scope of your life. I see you completely, and I am not limited by the blindness or distraction of the people whose attention has disappointed you. You remain fully seen, fully known, and fully valued, even in the relationships where that has not yet become true from the other side. My beloved child, I have spoken to the pain of being invisible even to people whose attention you longed for. And now I want to speak to the cost you paid that no one calculated. The emotional, physical, and spiritual toll of everything you have carried that others simply never fully accounted for. My beloved child, when people benefit from your effort without understanding its true cost, they often underestimate what it actually took from you, treating your capability as though it were effortless simply because you made it look that way. I want you to consider how skill and consistency can sometimes work against you in this specific way. The more capable you become at carrying a burden, the more invisible the weight of that burden becomes to everyone watching, because your competence hides the strain rather than revealing it. My beloved child, I want you to know that I am not fooled by your competence the way others sometimes are. I see the actual cost behind every capable, composed performance you have offered the world, even when that cost remained completely hidden from everyone else's view. I also want to speak to the specific loneliness of being the person others depend on without ever being asked how you yourself are doing. My beloved child, when you consistently occupy the role of the strong one, the capable one, the one who holds things together, people often stop thinking to check on you, assuming your strength means you do not also need care, comfort, and support. This assumption is not always malicious, but it is still painful, leaving you to carry your own struggles without the same attention you so freely offer to everyone else. I want you to release any bitterness that has grown from this uncalculated cost, while also allowing yourself to grieve it honestly. My beloved child, you are allowed to feel the weight of having given more than anyone realized, of having sacrificed more than anyone accounted for, without that grief making you unloving or ungrateful for the good that came from your sacrifice. Both truths can exist together, the goodness of what you gave and the legitimate ache of having given it without anyone truly understanding its cost. I want you to know that I have kept a full account of everything this cost you, every ounce of energy, every quiet exhaustion, every moment you gave more than you had in reserve because someone needed you to. My beloved child, nothing about this cost has escaped my notice, and I intend to honor it fully, in ways that may not be visible yet, but that are as certain as every other promise I have made to you throughout this letter. My beloved child, I have shown you that I have kept full account of the cost no one else calculated. And now I want to speak more directly to this idea of my record keeping, because I want you to understand it is not simply a comforting metaphor. I keep records you don't know about, detailed accounts of every quiet act of faithfulness, every hidden sacrifice, every moment of integrity chosen when no one was watching, every tear cried in private, every burden carried without complaint. My beloved child, nothing in your life has passed by unrecorded, unnoticed, or unvalued by me. Even the parts that will never make it into any story anyone else will ever tell about you. I want you to consider what it means that I am a God who remembers, who does not simply notice things in the moment and then forget them once the moment has passed. My beloved child, my memory of your faithfulness does not fade the way human memory sometimes does, distracted by newer events, softened by the passage of time. I remember every unnoticed act with the same clarity today that I possessed the moment it happened, and I will remember it with that same clarity for as long as it matters. I also want to speak to what these records are actually for, because I know it might be tempting to imagine them simply as a ledger of debts owed to you, A tally I will one day use to reward you mechanically for services rendered. My beloved child, that is not quite the heart behind this record-keeping. These records exist because I genuinely value what you have done, because your faithfulness matters to me personally, not merely transactionally. I am not keeping score in order to eventually settle accounts coldly. I am keeping a record of love, treasuring every hidden act the way you might treasure a collection of letters from someone whose every word mattered deeply to you. I want you to find comfort in this today, not because you are owed something mechanical in return, but because you are deeply known, deeply valued, and deeply remembered by the one whose opinion actually matters most. My beloved child, there will come a day, whether in this life or beyond it, when what has been hidden will be revealed, when the record I have kept becomes visible, when every unnoticed sacrifice finally receives the honor it always deserved. Until that day, rest in the knowledge that the record exists, complete and accurate, held safely by the one who never once stopped watching. My beloved child, I have shown you the records I keep of your hidden faithfulness, and now I want to speak to a specific, painful memory many of you carry. The time you were overlooked for a promotion, a recognition, an opportunity you had genuinely earned, watching it go instead to someone else, someone louder, someone more connected, someone who had not worked as hard or sacrificed as much as you had. My beloved child, I understand how deeply unfair this feels, and I do not want to minimize the sting of watching genuine effort go unrewarded while a lesser effort receives the recognition instead. I want you to consider that the systems of recognition in this world are imperfect, shaped by human bias, favoritism, and limited perspective. My beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend these systems are always fair, or that being overlooked never involves genuine injustice. I am asking you to trust that my evaluation of your work is not subject to the same limitations. I see the full effort, the full sacrifice, the full quality of what you have offered, uncolored by the same biases that sometimes distort human decision-making. I also want to speak to the temptation to let this specific disappointment convince you that hard work no longer matters, that faithfulness is pointless if it does not produce the recognition you deserve. My beloved child, I do not want this bitterness to take root in you. Your faithfulness matters regardless of whether it produces immediate recognition, because its value was never contingent on being publicly acknowledged in the first place. The recognition you were denied does not erase the genuine worth of the effort you gave. I want you to release the specific person or system that overlooked you from the burden of needing to make it right in order for you to find peace. My beloved child, waiting for an apology, a correction, or a delayed acknowledgement from the very system that overlooked you can keep you trapped in a cycle of resentment that only continues to cost you peace. I am able to bring justice and honor in ways that do not depend on that specific system ever recognizing its error. So, my beloved child, bring me the specific memory of being overlooked, whatever position, honor, or opportunity was denied you unfairly. I see the full truth of what you deserved, and I am not limited by the same flawed evaluation that overlooked you. Trust that my recognition of your worth remains completely intact, regardless of what any human system decided to honor instead. My beloved child, I have spoken to the pain of being overlooked for recognition, and now I want to speak to the quiet acts of love you gave without credit, the small kindnesses no one traced back to you, the encouragement you offered anonymously or without fanfare, the help you provided behind the scenes while someone else received the visible thanks for the outcome. My beloved child, I want you to know these quiet acts of love are among the purest offerings you have given, precisely because they were never motivated by a need for credit in the first place. I want you to consider how love given without expectation of credit reveals something significant about the condition of your heart. My beloved child, love that requires acknowledgement in order to feel worthwhile is a different kind of love than love offered simply because it was the right thing to do, simply because you cared, simply because you wanted to help, regardless of whether anyone would ever know it was you. The quiet acts you have offered without credit reveal a depth of genuine love that public, celebrated acts of generosity do not always require. I also want to speak to the specific temptation to feel resentful when someone else receives credit for something you actually did, whether an idea, an act of service, or a solution you contributed quietly behind the scenes. My beloved child, this resentment is understandable, but I want you to release it before it takes root and grows into something that poisons the genuine goodness of what you originally offered. The fact that someone else received credit does not erase the fact that you were the one who actually gave the love, the effort, the solution. I know the truth, even when public credit was assigned incorrectly. I want you to remember the specific instruction I gave about giving in a way that even your own awareness does not become preoccupied with recognition, offering generosity so genuinely that it becomes almost instinctive rather than calculated for effect. My beloved child, this is exactly what you have practiced in many of these quiet acts of love, and I want you to know that this kind of unself-conscious generosity is precious to me, valued far beyond what any public acknowledgement could ever add to it. So my beloved child, continue offering these quiet acts of love, trusting that credit was never actually the point of what you were doing in the first place. I see every one of them clearly, and I treasure the genuine heart behind each quiet, uncredited gift you have given throughout your life. My beloved child, I have shown you how precious your quiet, uncredited acts of love are to me, and now I want to speak to something important about my own posture toward reward, because I am not waiting for an audience to reward you the way the world waits for public validation before honoring someone's contribution. My beloved child, I do not require witnesses in order to recognize and eventually honor what you have done. My reward system does not depend on visibility, popularity, or the approval of a watching crowd. It depends entirely on the truth of what actually happened, known fully by me, regardless of who else was paying attention. I want you to consider how differently this operates compared to human systems of reward, which so often depend on visibility, self-promotion, and the ability to make your contributions known to the right people at the right time. My beloved child, I know this has disadvantaged you in certain human systems, where those more skilled at self-promotion received recognition that perhaps should have gone to your quieter, more substantial contribution instead. But I want you to trust that my own reward is not subject to the same limitations. I do not need you to advertise your faithfulness to me in order for me to recognize and honor it fully. I also want to speak to the timing of this reward, because I know part of the pain of unrecognized effort is the sense that the reward, if it ever comes, feels impossibly delayed. My beloved child, some rewards come in this life, visible and tangible, arriving later than you expected but still within your lifetime to witness and enjoy. Other rewards are reserved for beyond this life entirely, promises of a fuller reckoning that human systems, limited to this world alone, could never fully account for. I do not want you to measure the certainty of eventual reward only by what you can currently see unfolding in your immediate circumstances. I want you to release the anxiety of needing an audience in order to feel that your life has mattered. My beloved child, an audience was never actually required for your life to have significance. Significance was established the moment I created you with purpose, and it does not depend on how many people witnessed your faithfulness or how loudly your achievements were celebrated. I am the only audience whose recognition ultimately determines the true worth of what you have done, and I have been watching, fully attentive, this entire time. So my beloved child, release the need for a human audience to validate the meaning of your life. I am not waiting for a crowd to gather before I honor what you have done. I have already been honoring it, quietly, faithfully, the entire time. And I will continue to honor it in ways that will eventually become fully visible, in my timing, according to my own perfect understanding of what genuine honor actually requires. My beloved child, I have shown you that I am not waiting for an audience to reward you. And now I want to offer specific comfort for the lonely seasons themselves. Not simply the theology behind why loneliness does not mean forgotten, but practical comfort for the actual felt experience of those seasons. My beloved child, I know theology alone does not always soften the ache of an empty evening, a quiet weekend, a holiday spent without the companionship you longed for. I want to speak into that specific ache today, gently, the way I would speak to someone sitting right beside me in exactly that kind of lonely moment. I want you to know that I am present in the specific textures of your loneliness, not simply as an abstract theological truth, but as an actual companion in the room with you. When the house is quiet and the silence feels heavy, I am there in that silence. When a holiday arrives and the absence of certain people is especially sharp, I am present in that particular grief. When you scroll through images of other people's gatherings and feel the ache of your own solitude, I am with you in that exact moment, not distant, not waiting for you to feel better before drawing near. I also want to speak practically to what might help you through these lonely seasons, not as a replacement for genuine human connection, which I do want for you eventually, but as sustenance for the seasons in which that connection is not yet fully available. My beloved child, allow yourself small comforts without guilt. Allow yourself to grieve the loneliness honestly, rather than pretending it does not affect you. Allow yourself to reach out, even in small, imperfect ways, to the people who might be able to offer companionship, even if past attempts at connection have left you hesitant to try again. I want you to know that loneliness, while painful, is not necessarily permanent. Seasons shift. Relationships form in unexpected ways and unexpected timing. My beloved child, I do not want you to assume that the loneliness you are currently experiencing is the fixed condition of your entire future. I am actively working, even now, to bring genuine connection into your life, in ways and timing I have not yet revealed to you. So my beloved child, in this specific lonely season, let me be near to you in the actual textures of your solitude, not simply as a comforting idea, but as a real presence sitting with you in the quiet evenings, the empty chairs, the holidays that feel harder than they should. I am here fully in every one of those specific moments, even when human companionship remains temporarily out of reach. My beloved child, I have offered comfort for your lonely seasons, and now I want to speak plainly to a belief that has quietly taken root in you. The belief that your value is dependent on being seen, that if no one notices you, no one applauds you, no one acknowledges your worth, then perhaps that worth is somehow diminished or uncertain. My beloved child, I want to dismantle this belief completely today. Your value was never dependent on being seen by anyone, including the people whose attention you have longed for most. I want you to consider where your worth actually originates. My beloved child, it was established the moment I formed you, intentionally, with purpose, before any human eyes ever had the opportunity to see you or evaluate you at all. Your value is not something that accumulates through recognition or diminishes through obscurity. It was fixed, complete, and unchangeable from the very beginning, entirely independent of how many people have noticed you along the way. I also want you to consider how fragile a worth dependent on visibility would actually be. If your value depended on being seen, it would rise and fall constantly, strong on the days people noticed you and weak on the days they did not, entirely subject to the inconsistency of human attention. My beloved child, I did not design your worth to be that fragile. I designed it to be as stable and unchanging as I am, rooted in my unwavering commitment to you rather than in the unreliable, ever-shifting attention of the people around you. I want you to notice how much freedom becomes available to you once you release the need to be seen in order to feel valuable. My beloved child, when your worth no longer depends on visibility, you become free to serve quietly without resentment, to love without needing credit, to work faithfully without requiring applause, because none of these things were ever actually the source of your value in the first place. This freedom does not mean you stop desiring genuine connection or appropriate recognition. It simply means these things become genuine desires rather than desperate needs required to validate your worth. So my beloved child, release the belief that being unseen diminishes you. You are fully valuable, fully significant, fully worthy of love and honor, regardless of how many human eyes have noticed it along the way. I saw you from the very beginning, and my seeing has always been enough to establish your worth completely, independent of anyone else's attention or recognition. My beloved child, I have shown you that your value never depended on being seen, and now I want to speak to a promise I want you to hold on to. I will reveal what was hidden. Everything that has felt invisible, unnoticed, and unacknowledged throughout your life will not remain hidden forever. My beloved child, there is coming a time, whether in specific moments within this life or in the fuller revealing beyond it, when what was done in secret will be brought into the light. when the true weight of your quiet faithfulness will finally be made visible, honored in ways that the silence of this current season could never fully capture. I want you to consider how this pattern has already played out in smaller ways throughout the stories of faithful people who came before you. People whose hidden faithfulness eventually became visible, whose unnoticed integrity eventually became a testimony that inspired others, whose quiet years of preparation eventually gave way to a season where everything they had built in secret finally bore visible fruit. My beloved child, this pattern is not unique to a few exceptional stories from the past. It is a pattern I continue to work in ordinary lives, including yours, even when the timeline stretches far longer than you would prefer. I also want you to understand that this eventual revealing is not primarily about giving you the recognition you have been denied, though that recognition will come in its own way. It is more deeply about truth being made visible, about the actual substance of a life becoming known, rather than remaining obscured by whatever narrative others assumed about you based on limited, incomplete information. My beloved child, I care about truth being revealed, and your hidden faithfulness is part of the truth that I intend to bring fully into the light eventually. I want you to hold this promise with patience rather than anxious anticipation, trusting the timing the same way this entire letter has asked you to trust timing in every other area of your life. My beloved child, I am not asking you to wait passively, resentfully counting the days until vindication arrives. I am asking you to continue faithfully in the unseen places, trusting that the hiddenness of this current season is not permanent, and that what is hidden now will not remain hidden forever. So my beloved child, receive this promise fully. What was unseen will be seen. What was uncredited will be credited. What felt forgotten will be remembered publicly, in whatever way and timing serves the truth best. I am not finished with your story, and the hidden chapters you have walked through faithfully are being prepared for a revealing that will honor every quiet sacrifice you have ever made. My beloved child, I have promised you that what was hidden will be revealed, and now I want to speak to the community that is finally learning to see you, whether it has already begun to arrive in your life or is still being prepared for you. My beloved child, I do not intend for you to walk through the rest of your life invisible to everyone around you. I am actively bringing people into your life who are capable of true seeing, people who notice effort rather than only results, who ask how you are doing and genuinely wait for the honest answer, who value your quiet faithfulness as much as they would value a more visible achievement. I want you to consider that part of the reason certain relationships have felt so painfully invisible is that they were simply not the relationships designed to fully see you. My beloved child, this does not mean those relationships were mistakes or failures. It simply means that the deep seeing you have longed for may come from different people than the ones you originally expected it to come from. People I am still gathering into your story, some of whom you may not have even met yet. I also want to speak to what it looks like to receive true seeing when it finally arrives, because I know a long history of feeling unseen can make it difficult to trust and receive genuine attention when it is finally offered. My beloved child, you may find yourself suspicious of someone who genuinely notices you, wondering what they want, doubting the sincerity of their attention simply because you have grown so accustomed to being overlooked. I want you to gently release that suspicion when the moment comes, allowing yourself to receive genuine seeing without immediately searching for the catch. I want you to actively watch for the people I am bringing who demonstrate this quality of true seeing, rather than assuming everyone will treat you the way you have been treated before. My beloved child, not every relationship carries the same blindness that some of your past relationships have carried. Some people are genuinely capable of the deep attention you have longed for, and I am bringing them into your life, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly, according to the timing that serves your healing best. So my beloved child, remain open to the community I am building around you, one capable of truly seeing you the way you have always deserved to be seen. Even while that community continues forming, remember that I have already been seeing you fully this entire time, and the human seeing that is coming will simply be an extension of the attention I have never once withdrawn from you. My beloved child, I want to speak specifically to those of you whose unseen sacrifice has come through caregiving, through parenting, through the daily, repetitive work of caring for someone who could not fully appreciate or acknowledge what that care required of you. Perhaps you cared for a child too young to understand the sacrifice, an aging parent whose memory could not retain your faithfulness, a loved one whose illness made gratitude impossible even when love remained. My beloved child, I want you to know that this particular kind of unseen sacrifice is among the most significant I witness, precisely because it so rarely receives the acknowledgement it deserves. I want you to consider how exhausting it is to give constantly to someone who cannot give recognition back, who cannot say thank you in a way that meets your need to be seen, who simply receives your care as the ordinary rhythm of their days without ever understanding the toll it took on yours. My beloved child, I see the toll. I see the years of interrupted sleep, the meals eaten cold because you were tending to someone else's needs first, the private exhaustion you carried while still showing up the next day, and the day after that, faithfully, without a single day of true recognition from the very person your care was poured into. I also want to speak to the guilt that sometimes creeps into caregiving, the sense that you should feel only gratitude for the opportunity to care for someone you love, without also acknowledging the genuine exhaustion and grief that caregiving carries alongside that love. My beloved child, both can be true at once. You can love the person you are caring for completely, and still feel depleted by the unrelenting demands of caring for them. This is not a contradiction, and it does not make your love any less real or any less sacrificial. I want you to bring me the specific weight of this caregiving, the parts no one else sees because they happen behind closed doors, in the middle of the night, in moments too mundane or too painful to ever become a story you would tell someone else. My beloved child, I witness every single one of those moments, and I honor the sacrifice fully, even when the person you cared for could never fully understand or repay what you gave them. So my beloved child, if caregiving has been your unseen sacrifice, know that it has not gone unnoticed by me. I see the love woven through every exhausting, unacknowledged day, and I want you to receive, even now, the recognition and honor that this sacrifice has always deserved, offered fully and completely from the one who has been watching the entire time. My beloved child, I have honored the unseen sacrifice of your caregiving, and now I want to speak to something related but distinct, the exhausting habit of performing worthiness in order to earn love and attention you fear you would not otherwise receive. My beloved child, you do not have to perform in order to be loved by me. I know that many of your unseen sacrifices were offered, at least in part, out of a quiet fear that if you stopped giving, stopped achieving, stopped proving your usefulness, the love and attention you have received would disappear entirely. I want to release you from that fear today. I want you to consider how exhausting it is to live as though your worthiness of love must be continually reestablished through effort, through achievement, through constant giving that leaves nothing in reserve for yourself. My beloved child, this is not the kind of relationship I want with you. I do not love you because of your performance, your achievements, or your capacity to give endlessly to others. I loved you before any of that was possible, and I will continue loving you long after your capacity to perform in these ways has changed or diminished entirely. I also want to speak to how this performance habit often develops, frequently rooted in earlier experiences where love genuinely did feel conditional, where attention had to be earned through achievement or usefulness, where rest or ordinary existence without contribution felt unsafe or unacceptable. My beloved child, if this describes part of your history, I want you to know that the pattern learned in those earlier experiences does not have to define your relationship with me, or eventually, your relationship with the healthiest people in your life either. I want you to practice, even in small ways, existing without performing, resting without producing, simply being present with me without offering anything in return. My beloved child, notice how uncomfortable this might feel at first, and be gentle with yourself in that discomfort. Unlearning a performance-based understanding of love takes time, and I am patient with however long this unlearning requires. So, my beloved child, release the exhausting habit of performing worthiness. You are already worthy, already loved, already fully valuable, entirely apart from what you produce, achieve, or sacrifice. I want you to begin practicing rest in that truth today, even if it still feels unfamiliar, trusting that my love for you has never once been contingent on your performance. My beloved child, I have shown you that you do not need to perform to earn love. And now I want to speak to something you may not have considered: the importance of learning to notice and honor your own effort, even before anyone else does. My beloved child, part of the healing available to you in this season is developing the ability to see yourself the way I see you, to notice your own faithfulness, your own sacrifice, your own quiet strength, rather than waiting entirely on others to notice it for you. I want you to consider how much of your pain around being unseen has come from placing the entire responsibility for that seeing onto other people, some of whom were simply not capable of offering it. My beloved child, while I absolutely want you to receive genuine acknowledgement from healthy relationships, I also want to invite you into a practice of self-acknowledgement, quietly naming your own effort, your own resilience, your own faithfulness, even in the moments no one else steps forward to name it for you. I want you to try this practice honestly. At the end of a difficult day, name specifically what you managed to do despite exhaustion, despite discouragement, despite the absence of any applause. My beloved child, this is not vanity or self-congratulation. It is simply honest acknowledgement of truth, the same kind of acknowledgement I have been offering you throughout this entire letter. Learning to offer it to yourself, even in small measure, can begin to soften the ache of having gone so long without receiving it from anyone else. I also want you to understand that this practice does not replace the genuine human acknowledgement you deserve, and that I am still working to bring into your life. My beloved child, I am not suggesting that self-acknowledgement alone is sufficient, or that you should stop longing for genuine connection and recognition from others. I am simply offering you an additional resource, a way of carrying yourself through the seasons when that human acknowledgement remains delayed, without collapsing entirely under the weight of its absence. So, my beloved child, begin practicing this quiet honoring of your own faithfulness, alongside everything else this letter has already offered you. You are allowed to notice your own strength. You are allowed to be proud, quietly, of what you have carried. This is not arrogance. It is simply agreement with the truth I have been speaking over you this entire time. The truth that you have always been seen, valued, and worthy of honor, beginning with my own attention and now, gradually, extending even to your own. My beloved child, before I bring this letter to its close, I want to speak to one more layer of this experience: the way feeling unseen can make you doubt the reality of your own life story, wondering whether your struggles were significant if no one else fully witnessed them, wondering whether your growth was real if no one applauded the transformation. My beloved child, the reality of your life does not depend on external validation in order to be true. What you have walked through happened fully and completely, whether or not anyone else can fully attest to it. I want you to consider how isolating it can feel to hold a significant chapter of your story entirely alone, without anyone who truly understands its weight or its meaning. My beloved child, I understand every chapter completely. I was present for the beginning, the middle, and I already know the end, even the parts you have not yet lived. You are never required to prove the reality of your struggle to me in order for it to be honored. I already hold the complete, accurate record, needing no outside confirmation to validate what I already fully know to be true. I also want to speak to the specific temptation to minimize your own story simply because it feels smaller or less dramatic compared to other people's more visible struggles. My beloved child, the significance of your story was never measured by comparison to someone else's. Your particular struggles, your particular sacrifices, your particular unseen faithfulness matter fully on their own terms, without needing to compete with anyone else's more publicly recognized journey. I want you to trust the reality of your own experience even when no one else can fully corroborate it. My beloved child, I am the ultimate witness to everything you have walked through, and my witness is sufficient, complete, and entirely trustworthy. even in the moments you have felt most alone in carrying the weight of your own story. My beloved child, I have walked with you through this entire letter, showing you that I saw you when no one else did, that I noticed the effort no one applauded, that I honored the sacrifice you made in silence, that your loneliness never meant you were forgotten, that I counted every tear you cried alone, that your faithfulness in unseen places matters deeply to me, that being invisible to specific people never meant being invisible to me, that I have kept full account of the cost no one else calculated, that I am not waiting for an audience before honoring your quiet acts of love, that I offer real comfort in the actual textures of your lonely seasons, that your worth was never dependent on being seen, that what has been hidden will one day be revealed, and that I am actively building a community around you capable of truly seeing you the way you have always deserved. I have also spoken to the particular unseen sacrifice of caregiving, the exhausting habit of performing worthiness to earn love that was never actually conditional, the practice of learning to notice and honor your own effort even before others do, and the reality that your story does not require external validation in order to be true and significant. My beloved child, now I want to speak one final word over you as this letter comes to its close. You have never been invisible to me. Not for a single day, not for a single hour, not for a single quiet moment, when you believed no one was paying attention. I have seen every version of you across every season of your life. The exhausted version, the grieving version, the faithful version who kept showing up when no one noticed, the sacrificial version who gave without credit, the lonely version who cried without witnesses. Every single one of these versions of you has been fully known, fully loved, and fully honored by me. I want you to carry this truth forward into your ordinary days, not as an abstract comfort reserved only for the hardest moments, but as a quiet, steady confidence woven into how you understand yourself. You do not need to perform for visibility. You do not need to seek recognition in order to know your life has mattered. You do not need anyone else's applause in order to trust that what you have given, sacrificed, and endured has been genuinely significant. I have already told you the truth, and it does not depend on anyone else confirming it in order to remain completely true. My beloved child, walk forward today knowing that the eyes that matter most have never once looked away from you. I saw you in the unnoticed effort. I saw you in the silent sacrifice. I saw you in the lonely nights and the crowded rooms where you still felt entirely alone. I saw you in the moments you doubted whether your life meant anything at all. And I am telling you now, clearly, completely, without any qualification, your life has meant everything to me. You were never invisible. You were never forgotten. You were always, fully, completely seen. My beloved child, I want to leave you with one final image before this letter ends. Picture yourself standing in a room you once believed was empty, certain no one had witnessed anything that happened there, certain your effort, your tears, your quiet faithfulness had all unfolded without a single observer. Now picture me standing in that same room the entire time, present in every corner, attentive to every detail, close enough to have seen everything you believed had gone unnoticed. My beloved child, that room was never empty. I was there. I have always been there. I want you to let this image settle into every memory of feeling unseen that you carry, replacing the isolation of those memories with the quiet, steady presence of someone who was there the whole time. Every unwitnessed sacrifice, every private tear, every unapplauded effort, revisit each one now with this new understanding that you were never actually alone in any of it. My beloved child, this reframing does not erase the pain of feeling unseen by others, but it does something important alongside that pain. It reminds you that the deepest truth about those moments was never your isolation. It was my presence. So my beloved child, carry this letter with you the next time the ache of invisibility returns. The next time you wonder whether anyone truly notices what you carry. The next time loneliness convinces you that you have been forgotten. Return to this truth, simple and complete. I saw you, I see you now. I will keep seeing you, fully and completely, for as long as your story continues to unfold, and even beyond it, into whatever comes next. You have never been invisible to me, my beloved child, and you never will be. My beloved child, one last thought before you close this letter and return to your day. If today happens to be one of the harder days, one where the ache of feeling unseen is especially present, I want you to do something small and simple. Speak these words out loud, even quietly, even just once. I am seen, I am known, I am not forgotten. My beloved child, sometimes truth needs to be spoken aloud before it can settle fully into the parts of you still holding on to doubt. Let your own voice remind you of what I have been telling you throughout this entire letter, and let that reminder carry you gently into whatever this day still holds. And if tomorrow brings the same ache again, come back to these words once more. Truth spoken once is not always truth fully received the first time, and I do not expect you to internalize an entire lifetime of feeling overlooked in a single reading of a single letter. My beloved child, return here as often as you need to, on the easy days and the hard ones alike, until the truth that you have always been seen becomes less something you have to remind yourself of, and more simply, the quiet, settled ground you stand on every single day. I am not going anywhere, my beloved child. I never have, and I never will. My beloved child, close your eyes for just a moment before you go. Feel the weight you have carried, unnoticed, for so long, and let it settle, just slightly, into the knowledge that it was never truly unwitnessed. Someone was watching the entire time, with love, with attention, with a full and complete understanding of everything it cost you. That someone is me, and I am not finished watching over you yet. There is more of your story still to come, and I will be seeing every single page of it, the same way I have seen every page that came before.